I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I had to do it, guys. I'm sorry. I love that song. So, Pet Sematary. I watched that over this past weekend, and I'm sorry that the review took out a while to get out, you know. I had a wedding this weekend. It was beautiful, it was amazing, but I had to ship out to Estes for that, so I've only recently had a bit of time to myself, and man, my work is killing me. Day job life, man. Ugh, it's rough. So now I'm finally getting to this review, and I've had a few days to process it and think about it. When I originally came out of the movie, I thought, it was good. It was good. It's a nice, scary movie. And a couple days after, I'm still kind of the same. And that's kind of where I'm going into my first problem with this movie. This movie feels very same-oldy, if that's a word that can be used, a phrase that can be used. Maybe the better way to say is that it feels more trapped in what it's trying to say, right? It's an adaptation of Stephen King's novel Pet Sematary, same name. And I feel like if you were someone who read this novel, you would probably appreciate that this movie is trying to stay true to the vision, or at least what I'm assuming is the vision, because it just feels like it's following plot points the entire time, and that's fine. But it's not. Again, it's not doing anything special. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just doing what's been done. In that sense, what it does well. There's some scary moments. There's a couple of questions raised at the ethics of bringing back people from the dead, and sometimes when things come back, they aren't the way they're supposed to be because there's a physical barrier and another spiritual barrier that shouldn't be crossed. And you shouldn't do it, and you shouldn't do it, and you shouldn't. The movie tells you this so many times. And maybe that's why it feels kind of same-oldy. There's so much foreshadowing done that if you're anyone who's watched a movie before, you know where the movie's going. And that's not even necessary for someone who's either watched the first movie or read the book. It's just, you know it. You get it. You get it. Now, aside from that core criticism of just the same-oldiness and kind of being over it, so to speak, one of the good things is the performances. That's where this movie has its best moments. I think if this had other actors or actresses here that weren't committed to trying to give their best out of this, then the movie would have felt kind of like morose, you know? But fortunately, you got Jason Clarke in the lead role here, and he does a good job at both transitioning into moments of like peril and terror, but then there's other moments of sadness. And there's something about Jason Clarke and just like being sad that like actually is kind of like intriguing. Which is weird to say. Normally when you see sad, mopey people on the screen, sometimes it gets you to shut off or turn away a little bit. Jason always feels authentic. It's kind of one of the reasons why I liked, I'm going to try and say it right. It's either Rise or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I can never remember if it's Rise or Dawn. They both sound like they're the first movies. But anyway, in that Planet of the Apes movie, I thought he was one of the reasons why that movie had a gravity. A spirit, if you will, soul. And I feel like he does that here as well. He brings that spirit and that soul, and it was good. But the big surprise was, I think, the little girl that was in this, the young actress that was playing the role of the daughter in this movie. She was really good. I was surprised at the way she transitions a couple of different things that happen during the movie and manages to be really convincing as a sweet girl and, this other duality that gets explored with. And it's super fascinating to see. If anyone's watched or read the book, I'm sure you have an idea of what's going on here. The very final thing is not a spoiler, but I will say that this movie ends with an ambiguous ending. So if you've read the book, you're probably going to lean on one side of the fence, and if you haven't read the book, there's a chance you may lean on the other. I feel like either way, it's pretty obvious what the end is trying to say, but some people may have issue with an ambiguous ending, where it's kind of like, it's not earned. It's the difference between a movie that has like a, and then a movie with Inception, where like the point is that it's up to you, to decide. Are you lost in, the world? Are you lost in your own brain, your thought, your dreams? I don't know. What's the right thing to say about this movie? I really feel like this movie is like saw that, and that's it. It's a 7. It's a solid 7 movie. If you haven't seen Us, which I think may be the other reason why this movie feels so kind of like blah, go see that first. But if you have seen Us, then you can go watch this movie maybe, especially if you're a horror fan. I don't feel like it's not worth seeing. It's just that you don't need to run out to see it right now. That's for sure. So yeah, Pet Sematary. I don't want to be buried. I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery for sure. That's definitely the moral line of this movie. Thank you guys for watching so much. And stay tuned here for more reviews and content. We have a couple of really exciting ideas in the woodworks. And man, we're getting ready for some big transitions. So I hope you guys are excited for what's coming out. And I got a lot of my friends working on some things, and it's very much appreciated. I'm excited about the future, and I'm excited about watching more movies that are worthy. So stay here for more of that.